Not a single presupposition except my ignorance. And it starts with a quote from Lao Tzu. The way that can be spoken of is not the constant way. Here in your chimerical disposition, creeks shallow and simple to follow. Here one cannot create or find conclusion. There is no system. Though you have bequeathed all Aravistic tendencies for omnipotent bliss and ubiquitous rest, and can dance upon snake scale, sage-like through a honky nut, attempts to broach your most genuine masquerade fall in a heap. In this language I struggle to see your limbs. Non omnia possumus homines. We cannot all do everything. Supremely patient beside rappers, I observe clouds change. Easy metamorphosis, easy. Our only gauge of time is itself. This poem was written on the first time that I walked the northern half of the Bidman Track. Actually the southern half, sorry. And it was written just south of Donnelly River Village at a campsite called Tom Road Campsite. And this poem, the title comes from Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard. And basically it's about being in touch with nature. And the title is, the presupposition, except my ignorance, is about, it's kind of like a secularization of religious metaphysics and coming one with nature. Søren Kierkegaard talks about praying truly to a false idol as opposed to praying falsely to a true idol, and not knowing whether, while you're doing it, what the difference is. And that's where the idea of ignorance comes in, and being close to nature. In any attempt to become one with nature, there's a narrative or a dialogue and a nature, a language which is going on, and a story that's being told to yourself and that you're experiencing as well. And I think basically what Lao Tzu is trying to say is that when one is speaking of becoming close to nature, then they're not actually becoming close to nature. So it's kind of like a circular paradox. The experience of being close to the constant way is different from speaking about the constant way. Yeah. Within aesthetics, I think painting and poetry are probably more closest aligned, and maybe music as well, in representing being close to nature, and mimesis, I suppose, in Greek language. But I think, getting back to ignorance and being within the experience and then relating the experience to others, I think once you are in that art or in that painting, which is being in the landscape or within that nature, the difference between that and then going away and trying to explain it to somebody else is where it breaks down. So the power of poetry isn't necessarily greater than any other form. It's mainly being open and allowing yourself to be in the position to experience that in the first place. We come from and return to the earth when we die. And that's one thing that I attempt to get close to in my poetry, is this kind of sense of life and death. And attempting also to strip back the ego, so that a movement through a landscape and a meditation of the body, and the distillation of thought through the body while you move through a landscape, and attempting to relate that to other people. I suppose in an environmental sense, there's it can be politicised. I know John Kinsella, for example, is quite adamant that poetry is political, and today with things like climate change and other environmental issues, it is possible for contemporary art or artistry to become representative of a greater social ecology, which potentially has has, greater impacts and influences on other ecologies as well. So greater awareness of the environment in entertainment can therefore have greater awareness of the environment in science and other areas.